So, CLS time intervals, Asia, London, New York. So let's start with Asia. Me personally, I don't trade Asia, okay. But if you trade it, it is good to know like what hours you should be trading it. And me personally, I don't trade Asia because, as we know, Asia is like most of the time full consolidation, and I only use it to collect data for trade New York, so I don't trade Asia. But anyway, let's give these time intervals. So Asia, okay, Asia opens at 6 p.m. The daily opening price is at 6 p.m. as we know. Now, why 6 p.m.? Because the CLS starts at 6 p.m. Simple as that. If you didn't know before, we use 6 p.m. as daily opening price because the CLS starts at 6 p.m. Now, the Asian range is between 6 p.m. EST to 12:30 EST. That doesn't mean you should be trading at 6 p.m. EST. Why? And I'm gonna tell you now. The first tradable hour is 9 p.m. EST. Why the first tradable hour is 9 p.m. EST? Because between I would say 8 to 8:30, 8:45, there is something that happens with the CLS. Basically, between 8 to 8:45, the CLS is figuring out what they gonna do with the orders they're receiving. Okay, basically they use that tiny interval, the interval of time, to figuring out what they're gonna do, what time are they gonna distribute the orders, how they're gonna distribute the orders, at what specific levels they're gonna distribute the orders. At 9 p.m. EST, everything happens. They are starting distributing the orders, all the stuff. That's why we use 9 p.m. EST, and the last tradable hour is 23 p.m. EST. So now you know why you should be trading. If you trade Asia, you should be trading it starting from 9 p.m. EST, because between 8 to 8:45, CLS is just figuring out what they're gonna do. So you shouldn't be trading it before 9 p.m. I hope that makes sense with Asia. I can't say much about Asia because I don't trade, like I said. It's only information I get for London. And now let's go to London. Let's go to London. Yeah, London. Okay, so London opens at 2 p.m. EST. Why? Because CLS again start distributing price, delivering price starting from 2 p.m. EST. London range is from 2 p.m. EST to 6 p.m. EST. Now, yes, your first hour to trade should be, no, sorry, your first hour to trade is 2 p.m. EST, but I always, my trading always begins at 2:30, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because those first 30 minutes, the interval of time between 2 to 2:30, I use that as information I collect to know how I'm gonna trade it, to know what the CLS is doing, to know where are they gonna distribute the price. So basically, yes, the first hour to trade the London time is 2 p.m. EST, but I always start from 2:30, because like I say, I use it to collect the information of those 30 minutes with a lot of back testing I've been doing, I've figuring out that the real 90-minute cycle starts from 2:30 and not from 2 a.m. So now between 2 a.m. to 3 a.m. is when the initial settlement process begins. Okay, between 2 a.m. to 3 a.m. is when the initial distribution of liquidity begins. It begins at 2 and ends at 3. So basically between 2 ENEST to 3 ENEST, you know when like the Asia high is taken, well, most of the time those liquidity pools like the Asia high are taken between this tiny interval of 2 ENEST to 3 ENEST. So I must see this time. I don't trade those times. Okay. I watch it. I collect the information because I see the 2 ENEST and the 3 EN as they are always used to take the liquidity pools to move the price to those liquidity pools. Okay, so that is basically, sorry, I was trying to find a word I can say in English because it's not my first language. So yeah, basically between 2 ENEST to 3 ENEST is when the initial settlement process begins. I don't trade. I could, but I don't trade that time. I only collect information from there, and then the 3 ENEST to 4 ENEST. In these tiny intervals, what happens is CLS distributes orders that are connected to Forex pairs, to Asia pairs like USD, USDJPY, GBP, JPY, those pairs that are connected to Asia. So imagine that the CLS between 3 ENEST to 4 ENEST, what the CLS does is they distribute a lot of orders of those Forex pairs like USD, USDJPY, GBP, So between that tiny interval, I don't expect much with like USD, GBPUSD, EURG, GBP, because what the CLS does is he distributes the order for the Asia Forex pair or Asia Forex pair. So if you like to trade like USD, GBP, USD, between 3 and 4, I would say it's the best time to trading. Now, between 4 yen to 6 yen, I call it the big move. Okay, between 4 and 6 is when I always trade London. It's like the time I trade. Why? Because between 4 and 6 yen is when the distribution on European pairs happen, like Euro GBP, Euro USD, GBP USD. So just imagine that the CLS between 3 to 4 yen, they just distribute orders for the Forex pairs that are connected to Asia. Okay, they distribute the order that for the Forex pair that are connected to Asia, and after that, from 4 EM to 6 EM, they start the distribution of they start the distribution on those forex pairs, on those European forex pairs, like I say, EURGP, EURUSD, GBPUSD. So when we talk about London, the best time to trade is that time between 2 EM to 6 EM. That's why I post a lot of videos. When I post on my Instagram stories trading London, is always at that time, because that 4 EM EST is the first 90-minute cycle, and the 6 EM EST is when London, no, it's not when London finish, well, it's when I would say the CLS finish the distribution of liquidity of London. So from 4 EM to 6 EM EST is the best time to trade those European forex pairs. And now, yeah, of course, the last hour to trade is 5 EM EST. Yeah, 5 EM EST. I don't mean that. I don't mean that 5 EM EST the last hour to trade. Between 5 and 6. 6 is when the price delivery on London is done. Okay. So I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. Keep it simple. Between 3 and 4 is the distribution of those Asia forex pairs, and between 4 to 6 is the distribution of those European forex pairs like EURUSD, GBPUSD, EURGP, etc. So yeah, now we go to the New York session now. So now let's go to New York, and New York is basically very simple. New York opens at 7 EM EST, and the New York range is between 7 EM to 12 EM. Now we got that the first hour to trade is 8 EM EST, but we trade begins at 8:30. Why 8:30? And this is the second 90-minute cycles of New York, and it's why we wait for the news. Okay, we can't trade. Imagine there is red news or yellow news. We can't trade before the news, because what the price does before the news is just inducing and manipulating. So we basically always wait. Most of the time, yeah, I'm gonna explain you how to, if you want to trade the 7 EM time, because there is a 90-minute cycle, there is a way to trade it. Sometimes I do it, but the big trade, like the big trade with a big probability, are gonna come to you at 8:30 after those news. And the last hour to trade is basically 11 EM. Yeah, that's it. Basically, New York. There is no much to say about New York. Yeah, there is a lot to say about New York, but it is gonna come on the other chapter about the 90-minute cycle, the times, and all of that, the objective of each one, and all of that. But yeah, basically New York start at 7 EM, and the New York range is at 7 EM to 12 EM. And like I say, the first hour to trade is 7 a.m. but we wait, okay, we wait until 8:30. First hour to trade, sorry, 8 EST, but we wait for 8:30 because the first 30 minutes, like I said before, we collect information of those 30 minutes. We collect information, we wait for the news, and after the news, we can, okay, we're gonna, yeah, you can trade the news, like you can trade the news, you can be aggressive and trade the news, or you can wait 20 minutes after the news and trading. But most of the time, their news at 8:30, I usually just wait for the 8:30 and I go aggressive, or wait 20 minutes after the news. But there is no most times I trade the 7 a.m. because there is something that happens at 7 a.m. I'm gonna explain you on the next chapters. You know, the cursor is between 7 a.m. to 12 a.m. We know that, but there is a way to trade those mini cycles, those 90-minute cycles. But yeah, this is basically the CLS time intervals of New York. Yeah, basically that's it. Sorry, when I was talking about the New York Curzon is between 7 a.m. to 12 a.m. I mean 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. I just confuse because I don't use the East time, I use the London time. But yeah, though, I don't want to confuse yourself. From 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. Yeah, the New York Curzon. Yeah, so that's it for the chapter.